Now, Chronicle is a 2012 found footage superhero film, and I know that that combination of words is going to instill horror in at least a few of you, but I assure you, it's a good movie. It really is. And please do watch it because I'm going to spoil it soon. Also, I'm sick a little bit. It's not what you think it is. Chronicle is written by this man and directed by this man. You may know them for these. Please, stay. So the first movie is about these three kids with telekinesis. There is the charismatic one.
Which is why I'm going into politics.
The weird one.
Hey, Wade!
And somewhere in between.
Yeah, ba-bling, ba-bling.
He's going to be important. And by the end of the movie, the main character, the weird one, he dies. He's dead. And Matt is the only character who lives. Now all of this is important because there was a sequel to this movie. Or at least, there was a script and a pitch. So as far as I know, there were two pitches to Fox. Or maybe it was Warner Brothers. But I'm pretty sure it was Fox. There was one that had time travel, and another one that was about robots. Kind of. Now for the time travel one, I don't think that was ever written. And if it was, I can't find it. I don't think it leaked. However, there was a script that leaked, and that was about the robots, or the robot suits. So, I read it. And let me tell you about it. So, we start off the movie with two characters. And these characters are new. There's Jack and Mimi. I don't remember Mimi's full name. It was like Miranda or something. But, basically, we start off in their house, and Mimi is recording, and this is a found footage movie, as well as the last movie. And they are vaguely familiar with the main events, although later we find out that they are, in fact, very familiar with the main events. In fact, Mimi was the one who made the last movie. She found all of the footage and she compiled it and she uploaded it to the internet. And I don't know if it's called Chronicle in the movie. I think it is. So after the first movie is released to the public by the two new characters, we meet Matt again. And he's just flying around doing superhero stuff. Matt meets up with these two government people. There's this guy Hanson and this girl Stephanie. Okay, and Stephanie is often recording the camera. There are about 3 main camera operators until the end of the movie, where it's just a bunch of civilians, like the end of the last movie. And basically, Matt just watches the first film, and he's pretty upset by it. Anyway, we go back to the new characters, and they are building a mech. And we see the two new characters in the desert testing it out. It can fly, it has like sonic cannons and miniguns. It's a nightmare. So the reason why they're building this robot is because Jack has beef with Matt because he was involved in the last movie, and his brother was killed at the end of the last movie. So the next time that we see the robot is at this big baseball field where Matt is having like a press conference / speech, and he's just kind of talking about how he's been, and who he is, and you know, stuff like that. And the robot attacks, and it kills a handful of people, and it injures a whole bunch of people. And Matt basically just crushes Jack. He crushes this guy, and he's dead. And the girl who is filming the whole thing, Mimi, who made the first movie, she runs away, and Matt is just fuming that she got away, and he's just completely he's Matt. And we find out that Matt can heal, and he also is able to like crush viruses. Like he just imagines crushing every virus in his body. He says he got sick once and he did that. I don't know, I think it's dumb, but whatever. And he also is able to heal like neck wounds. That makes a little bit more sense, but whatever. That'll come back later. So Matt loses it on Hanson and Stephanie, and he says, "Oh, why can't you find her?" and all that. And then this general guy shows up, and he's basically just there for exposition. And he says like, "Oh, this Mimi girl, she's like a genius. She was in some project in the 90s or whatever. And basically, we're just going to let her loose and build your robot so it can fight Matt." And of course, Matt and Hanson, they're not pleased about that because that's a terrible idea. Also, it's mean. So Matt is just completely furious about this, and he leaves. And he goes to Santa Monica, where Mimi lives. And then Mimi gets mad, and she goes to fight him. They fight for a bit, and a little bit more. Matt throws some things around, and then he basically just crushes her, okay? He almost kills her. and she's about to die. And then he's like, oh my god, I almost killed this woman, and it's basically my fault. So then he heals her, and then a bunch of people film him. He's like, and he runs away. So then Mimi gets arrested, and she's in this interrogation room talking to Hanson, and there's this really dumb line about how she's the villain and he's the hero, even though I totally got that. And then the movie ends with her looking into the camera, and smash cut to title. If you couldn't tell, I am a pretty big fan of the first movie. I really enjoy it. And this movie, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if it wasn't finished. First of all, it might have been just an early draft. I think if it did have a few more drafts, it could have been really good. But as it is, it's really strange. And like in the first movie, telekinesis is the only weird thing. And then in this movie, there's robots, and they can fly, and they have all this fancy things, and they just don't really fit with the first movie. With some alterations, it could have been really cool. And I am kind of sad that we didn't get it, but whatever. We got Brian instead.
Money can buy us happiness.
Wow.
We should all slow down and enjoy right now.
God, make it stop.
Yeah, the bling.